So I would like to call to order this meeting of the Urbana Park District Board of Commissioners on Tuesday, August 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Anything else, Austin?
Nope.
All right. First order of business is remote attendance, and there is no request for remote attendance at this time, so we can move on to item number 2, to accept the agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
I would accept the agenda as presented.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Sarah.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Moving along to item number 3, public comment. I don't. You're here, but not yet. Okay.
But on a rare occasion, there's nothing to say.
I already had my comments to Derek.
Great. And then we don't have any UPD staff introductions. Okay. All right. Well, then we'll move along to item number 4, appointment of the 2025-2028 UPDAC class.
Thank you. So yeah, we did have one additional application come in for the new UPDAC class, Sarah Rand. She has actually already been quite instrumental in some helping guide us with some of our accessibility that we didn't even realize we were missing out on. So we invited her after one of our first encounters with her to apply, and she's very excited to help be a part of UPDAC and continue to support the Park District in some accessibility issues. So yeah, we're excited to have her should the board move forward with her application.
I move to approve the following candidate to serve a 3-year term as part of the 25-28 class of the Urbana Park District Advisory Committee, UPDAC. The candidate is Sarah Rand.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on the appointment? All right, seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, starting with Ashley.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, passes. We're excited to have Sarah join us. At this point in time, we would normally have UPDAC advisory committee report, but there's no one here today. There's no need. Yep. All right, moving along to the consent agenda. So as a reminder that all items on the consent agenda are considered routine by the board and are enacted in one full motion. So if anyone desires, you can remove any item below and discuss separately. And so all commissioners had an opportunity to review these items prior to the board meeting today. All right. So is there any item on the consent agenda that any commissioner wishes to discuss or remove? Okay. All right. Seeing, I guess I need to list all the items, right?
Yes, please.
All right, so the items on the consent agenda today are approval of the minutes of the July 8th, 2025 regular board meeting, approval of the minutes of the July 8th, 2025 executive session, approval of the minutes of the July 11th, 2025 special board meeting, then a series of monthly reports, including the administration report, the planning and operations report, recreation report, action to accept the philanthropy reports and gifts listed with gratitude, and approval of the monthly paid accounts payable. All right, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve all the action items on the consent agenda and accept all the information items listed on the consent agenda in an omnibus manner.
Second.
All right, that's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on that? All right, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Sarah.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Those items pass. Moving along to number 7, reports. We'll start with the financial reports.
All right, we'll begin with, as usual, our revenue and expenditures report. This report shows receipts or revenues and expenditures for the prior 12-month period. columns listed here are budget for the current period and preliminary unaudited results for the 3 months of this fiscal year ending on July 31st, 2025. Page 1 is listed as Sum 1. This is all funds excluding our capital improvements budget. Revenues listed here for the period, $6,109,899. This is roughly $330,000 higher than this time last month, and a little bit lower, about $160,000 lower than this time last year. We are still awaiting our third distribution of property taxes. I wish I could tell you that it consistently arrives at a certain time, but last year it was mid-July, last year it was the year before it was mid-August, so should be just anytime. We haven't got it yet, though. Expenditures listed on page 1, $2,825,336. This is giving us a surplus after 3 months, meaning there is an excess of revenues over expenditures of $3,284,564. Page 2 is our capital improvements fund standalone, and revenues listed here for 3 months, $4,370, and the expenditures $123,704, giving us a deficit of $119,334. And page 3, this is all funds district-wide. Here, we're just noting the very bottom line that the fund balance for the district as a whole, $12,799,782.65. And this fund balance is about $1.7 million higher than last year, same time last year. So, the remaining reports are the individual fund reports for our 3 main working capital, our working funds, general, recreation, and museum, and the last page for UIAC indoor pool fund. Any questions on the revenues and expenditures reports? Okay, moving on to the treasurer's report. This is a report of the amount of cash the district has on a single day, July 31st of 2025. Listing down the left column all the funds, and then where the cash is invested is displayed across the top. And noting at the bottom right that investments to date of July 31st, single day, $13,768,241.95. Page 2, the top portion, this is a section that lists what we have in our interest-bearing accounts. So of that $13,768,000, we do have $11,188,087.92 out in investments at varying rates. The bottom page,
Yeah. Question.
yes,
So have we made all the payments?
we have. You're talking about for our presents.
Yeah.
Yes, that is complete.
We get to keep what I see on this report.
Beg your pardon?
We get to keep the set aside that we see for presents, and are those?
No,
I mean-
we have one more CD that has not matured yet, that will reduce this. So, in other words, what we had to pay, some of it was the CDs that had matured, and some is at cash flow, and so once this,
You'll move this into something else.
Got it.
Got it.
you got it. Indoor pool, or excuse me, the interfund loans, the bottom part of page 2, does have another small interfund loan between the rec and UIAC for $15,000. So currently we're sitting at $90,000, and again, this is normal every June, July, as we await USD's payment to us for their half of previous year. And then page 3, this report is all of our, page 3. This is our distributions, or disbursements for the month. This is payroll, this is vendor payments, and for the month of July, bottom line, $928,302. And I present you the treasurer's report for audit.
Do you have a motion to accept the treasurer's report for audit?
I move to accept the treasurer's report for audit.
All right, have a it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on that? If not, then we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Ashley.
Aye.
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 Passes.
All right, our last set of reports are the capital budget reports. And the items highlighted with the asterisk indicate areas of where new activity occurred during the month of July. And page 1 of our report is our 2019A capital budget. Here we just had a couple small expenditures. $250 was expensed to Stark, and this was for Valve. And then $5,127 was expensed to Frog Furniture for picnic tables at Hawk. Both of these items are in relation to Hawk. And then on our next page, 2025, we have the only expenditures we reflect here are the $80,000 that we paid to the artist for the 2 sculptures. Page 3 is our 2024 budget. Here we have one expenditure. This is $10,070, and this was to Molanda for benches. 2023, we have 3 expenditures listed here, and I'm sorry, the typo on your report. We have $1,429 expensed to TJ. This was for door closers. And then Midwest Engineering testing invoice number 1 was a $600 invoice split between 2 GL lines. So there was $129 in the middle of the report. At the bottom of the report under contingency, I repeated the $129, and it's really $471 for a total of $600. And there was no activity in the 22, 21, or 20 capital budgets. Good job, Andy. I think that's all I have, unless you guys have questions on the capital budgets. Otherwise, Andy and Eric will bring us up to date. Thanks.
So usually, I think the last 4 or 5 months, we've been starting with KRT project. So I kind of like to keep everyone updated first on the forest preserve portion. So if you remember, they had a tree removal contract this spring that's now fully completed. That contract is done. And so the next part is bidding of the trail extension work. So that bid is currently out right now. And they're anticipating having a bid opening on September 2nd. And then they would have it to their board at the September meeting, which is September 18th, for an award of the construction contract for the trail portion. They're in our kind of regular monthly update meetings. You know, by the time they get construction contract documents all done, it's probably going to be pushing into October. They still want to push and try to get as much work done this winter that they can to try to stay ahead of schedule, since we do have that overall grant deadline for us. But there's nothing concerning at this point with that schedule. Speaking of schedule, that goes into our project. So the last couple months, it's been we've been waiting on engineered shop drawings. That's through Polygon that does the pavilion structure itself. So until they provide the shop drawings, it doesn't even go into fabrication. They need stamped engineered drawings on their end to make sure everything's good before they start building it. So that's taken quite a few weeks longer than anticipated. Last week that was actually done, so that will initiate the fabrication of the structure. And that's still 10 to 12 week lead time. We're working with Core as well to try to help us push on Polygon if they can, and also with Mid-Illinois to try to make sure that they keep pushing them to see if there's anything possible we can do to expedite it. So if it holds at 10 to 12 weeks, we're probably looking at the pavilion being delivered at some point in early November. The contractor then would be out at the site, I would assume, in October to start preparing and doing foundations and stuff like that. But again, as far as our grant schedule, there's no cause for concern on that end. It's just has taken a bit more of a process than what we were hoping for. And then I wanted to update as well on Perkins Road. So process to open the park to the public This on the screen now was a master plan update that was completed in 2021. I'll see if I can zoom a little bit. So here's the dog park. I'll just kind of briefly go over that plan update that we had years ago, just kind of refresh everyone's memory or help inform if you hadn't seen this. So here's the existing parking lot. We have green for wayfinding opportunities throughout. Benches are brown rectangles, a number of soft paths, and additional parking. So as part of our master plan updating, we looked at potentially doing more parking to the east and west of the main existing parking lot. And then there's a series of basically soft trail loops. So one's up top to the west of the dog park, and then there's series of larger soft trails down below that has opportunities for interpretation that are shown in stars, and then bird blind, and obviously a number of benches. What we're looking at currently, and what we've entered into contract with an engineering group out of Macomb, Illinois, is to try to get the site accessible. So our goal is to have it open to the public. We want to make sure we have accessible access to the park itself, but also to view and enjoy the amenities within the park. So what we're looking at for some preliminary engineering is to take care of this accessible parking area. So if you've been down the long lane, there's a gate currently there, so that's the location for the gate. So we would look to have, this is where a lot of volunteers and staff park currently, if they're not driving down, to do accessible parking, and then looking at ensuring that we have accessible access that goes down here, and then a turf pave,
Grass pave.
grass
So
pave.
close.
So we're looking at an opportunity where we can have an accessible surface, soft trail where grass will come up through the grid, and that will help get access to a lot of the recreational amenities throughout the park. So this path here is what we're looking at utilizing that, and then we'll have the full loop and connection up to the accessible parking lot. So that's something we're kind of getting into surveying work and making sure all of our grades meet what we would need. And then potentially, if we need to take it out to bid for the parking or any of the trail work for this portion of the accessible portion, we hope to do that this winter and have work done next spring, summer.
Question, soft paths equal regular, like walk, like it's the dirt?
Mode.
Mode,
right.
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I understood what that was. And we had seen an incredible idea for this park that was gonna cost a lot of money. Right,
Yeah,
like with boardwalks, something.
expensive boardwalks, better, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
The
That's,
boardwalk we have in BC Woods is wonderful, but it does require a lot of care and feeding.
mhm.
In fact, we were just looking at it today with our IPEX representative, and we're eagerly awaiting the opportunity to apply for a new museum grant for it. So in a site like this, where you don't need to have a boardwalk, it makes sense to do something different. And this grass paved trail that Andy referenced, I'm always, I'm excited about the new things, but I also want to see them, and happen to see an installation out in Colorado, and it works really well. The engineer that we were introduced from Macomb sort of embraces new ideas, and she's worked on some other innovative projects, so we're excited to see where this goes.
I guess I was just curious if that is still like an idea for the future or not really, and that's fine either
Yeah,
way.
yeah. The one kind of important structure we're interested in investing in is that overlook that would be off the accessible pathway. We envision that being similar to the profitable overlook, and then bird blind as well. But in terms of like extensive boardwalks, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that grass paved, like, does it work with like power chairs and stuff too?
It does, yeah, you can
It like
drive,
holds up to
Fire
like
trucks
that heavy
over
of a chair?
yeah, fire trucks or any sort of, like now, excessive semi-trucks, maybe that might be pushing the boundaries, but, I mean, they use it as parking lots and things of that nature as well, so it is rated for ADA accessibility. We have sent it to Jennifer, or we're going to send it to her. Did we send it to her?
We wanted to do a trial test first. We
That's right,
purchased
we're
a bike
gonna
for
do
it.
that.
We've got a road section of trail in Nunavut that we're going to use it on and evaluate. But there are some white papers where they've tested and documented that it needs accessibility.
And it doesn't have a certain heat what is it called?
It's a prescribed fire.
Yeah, I can light it on fire at one point. So.
All right, somebody tested that, which was fun, I'm sure.
Is there any concern with that type of path system that it takes out there?
So it would be a low, it would be, the grass would be on it, we think would be path brush, which is what grows on our mowed paths through Meadowbrook Park and elsewhere. We are thinking about starting to mow our paths wider. This particular application is a fairly wide application of the material. We could still mow a wider buffer on the edge of it as well, but we've been actually mowing paths wider in Meadowbrook Park for that reason.
Exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll have our friend Rick at the sanitary district to thank for pushing this up a little bit. So he's been working with his board and hopes to provide some financial assistance in making this happen before he retires.
Yeah, the wall from 2021, there was a point when they were eager to move forward, and then COVID hit and they stopped getting paid by a lot of their, the community. But they're back in good shape and they're to push us forward.
Yeah, and they would be interested in doing a park tour at some point in the near future. I think we talked about September, so when you find that date, if anyone's interested in joining.
Yeah, I saw that, I just to make it up.
Yeah, I think that'd be wonderful to have both boards up there.
I haven't, good to
Derek knows this, but I'm very excited about this project.
Yeah.
Anxiously waiting. Great spot.
Okay, I want to also bring up a couple projects.
I'm scared.
So now, months ago, I think in the winter, we had updated on a few smaller capital projects that we were kind of in the planning stages for, and we were looking to do over the course of the summer and fall, primarily the fall. So now we're getting to that point where a lot of our summer programs and activities, the rentals, field rentals, and everything are kind of coming to a close. So this is our moment where we've been preparing for the demolition of the structure here at Candidate. So I believe at this point, it may be before our next board meeting, we may have the structure down. We're still kind of making sure everything's good. So utility work, water has been relocated. We still need to get electrical disconnected. And then we'll set up our erosion control measures, and then staff internally are actually doing the demolition and then the restoration to turf there. And then we'll have the electrical contractor then relocate the electrical utilities. So as you can see, I don't know if I need to remind everybody, the structure is pretty old. It's in poor shape. We're required to do asbestos testing before we do any demo. So we've done everything we need to do, permitting with the city over the course of the summer. So it's just, we're about at action time. So I may have some other pictures for you, the before and after next month. And then one of the other items is painting projects. So a couple of years ago, we had a painting contractor that we've developed a pretty good relationship with over the past few years. Shane, before he retired, gave us a list of like 5 to 6 priority painting projects that we want to start planning for in our capital budget. So in 2025, one of those items is the pavilion here at Ambucks Park. So we've been waiting for programming to slow down at the field there. This will obviously cause us to close the restroom for, they're anticipating a week to a week and a half, depending on weather. We will drop portable toilets as we prepare for the contractor to come to the site. But basically, we're getting to that point now where we're going to have the action. So we've been planning for it for a while. So hopefully next board meeting, don't have the final schedule yet, but we should have this repainted or close to it.
What color?
It's going to be very close to this. Did you want to choose colors?
Roll call vote on that.
Sometimes it's
They
safe.
say in board
It looks
training
pretty
that you
good.
don't pick the paint color. That was my one takeaway.
We did.
But
Sometimes it's easy if it doesn't look bad just to do the same colors here, which it doesn't look. Obviously, these are the worst case pictures of it here. It's very faded, and yeah. The fascia, our staff actually went out and replaced all the boards here in
Okay.
preparation for the work too, so we should be pretty close to ready to go.
The colors were usually complementary to the playground, so
Oh, I see.
there's a theme going.
The shades, yeah, and the shade structure, we picked the blue, I think, off of this too,
Yeah.
so there's a method.
Inspired.
And that's it, unless there's any questions.
Okay, what was the timeline on parking for?
Well, so we get a construction estimate from the engineer, she's working on conceptual, to take the sanitary district and see kind of whether, but optimistically it could happen, well, I mean, potentially this winter.
Potentially next year.
Yeah.
We could, if we need to bid portions of it, it could be this winter that we go out to bid, potentially.
Moving along then to the executive director.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Well, you all got a copy of the You Belong Here report, so the one thing I wanted to mention that is not listed in there is, so based on some of the feedback that we have gotten from our newly appointed UpDeck member, was she attended an event recently and there was a lot of missing pieces to accessibility there. Our table in particular was not accessible. It was off the sidewalk. The handicap spot was taken up by a vendor. So just things that once you get into a groove, unfortunately our staff overlooked. And so our Keenan and Jamil actually are working on an accessibility checklist for events that so our event planners will fill out and make sure they just have a reminder of some of the things that are easily overlooked. So we're hoping that gets completed in the next month or so, but you know, have it ready to go and have all the staff trained on it before the next busy event season. So I'm really grateful for their initiative and stepping on that right away. Beyond that, we had the opportunity to host the iParks board meeting back in July. Had directors and commissioners from across the state, as well as Peter Murphy and Jason Anselman from IHED. So it's always a great opportunity to show off some of our spaces and get to host such a wide group of professionals. So it was wonderful to have Tim back in the house. So you know, it was a great get together. Had the opportunity with Andy and Keenan to not only appreciate a wonderful mariachi band, but also get to present to Rotary about the King Park plan. I got some great feedback on that and built some excitement about that incoming project, which I won't say anybody else's thunder for the next coming up. And then I just wanted to let you guys know, we were invited to partner with the city for a Philo Road event that's happening on September 7th. This is a community-centered initiative that the Mayor Deshawn kind of came up last minute with, and we were here to celebrate and support it. So, but they want to celebrate Southeast Urbana as we gather ideas and dreams and concerns, but really work on building connections and trust in that neighborhood. So, Urbana Park District will be bringing Urbana, doing some fitness demos, have an information table. You know, I reached out to staff, and within 15 minutes, we had 2 or 3 people who instantly responded, "Yeah, we're going to be there, no problem." So, September 7th, it's a Sunday. I believe the time is from 1 to 5. So, the mayor is in charge of the music, and if it's as good as a shoe game, it's going to be fantastic.
Have you heard him sing yet?
I have not. Can he sing?
He's phenomenal. He's great.
Well, somebody hand him a microphone. I'm going to make that.
Good problem.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we're excited to partner with them on that. And then I will pass it over to Corky. With summer, we have fun numbers for all of our popping facilities. So, Corky.
Yeah, thank you. So just real quick on the Crystal Lake Park pool, we stayed pretty steady with last year. So last year, total visitation between members and daily admission, we had 39,769, so that don't count any other visits like camps that come. This is just people who are paying daily at the window. So we had 39,769. This year we're at 39,448, so pretty close. Memberships that were actually sold in '24, we had 484 memberships, and this year we had 528 memberships. So memberships are continuing to stay strong at the pool. Health and Wellness Center, we have, number one, we've got 264 silver sneakers. And I was just sharing with Rachel the other day, we have also been approved, still in the process of getting the okay to start it. But we've been approved for silver sneakers now for the indoor pool and the outdoor pool. So we're working on the equipment we need to allow it to come through the gates. So we're
Do you
moving
have to
forward with that.
Sorry, question. Do you have to have a special part of Medicare for that, or is it just part of it? Like you do?
It's part of
Okay,
Medicare.
that's good. So
Yeah,
it's
you
just-
get a
that's what
number
I wanted to
on
know.
Medicare, and then you give us that number, and we submit it
So you don't
into.
have to have Part B or whatever else.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We've also got two other companies that have not been real active yet. One is Well on Target, which I believe is through Blue Cross Blue Shield, which would take you from 18 on up. But so far, we've only got 3 of those memberships.
Say that again?
Well on Target.
So it would pay for you to have a membership, so that,
It pays a certain percentage,
for pool or hawk or both?
just the hawk.
Oh, considering that's a big new
Yeah.
player in
Uh-huh.
the community, that's fantastic.
So total members, 1,850. That's how many we have for 7 months. So if you remember, I've said it every month, but our target was 800. So we've done really well with that. OSF Scholarship Fund money, there was 30,000. We're close to finishing the first $30,000 for this year. We've given out $26,591, and that equates to, I'll find it, hold on, 342 members of our 1,850.
Yeah, one of my clients signed up the other day, so she said one of her goals was to work out. I was like, have I got a place for you?
Well,
Harder over there.
another huge number is for a brand new facility like ours, in a town where we never had a facility of this nature. We have 7,804 people that have just come through the door and paid daily. So it's well received, it's going really well. Total visitation is 41,924 visitors. So again, going really well. And I was saying before the meeting, once we get, this is based on from January 4th. We hope to be able to compare month to month once we get into our next fiscal year. So we're not kind of going in between 2 fiscal years, because that's what we're doing at the moment. So I'll continue to kind of give you updates on how we're doing from April last year to April this year, that kind of thing.
Are a lot of people buying punch cards? There's a punch card for Hawk, right?
There is no punch card.
There's
fee.
not for Hawk,
Just for
No.
flexi passes.
So yeah, it's going really well. We're getting lots of groups using the facility as well. Urbana Police, we're doing an activity with Urbana Neighborhood Connections. It rained. It was supposed to be at Victory Park. And so we got them in last minute into our facility, and lots of good partnerships going on. So it's good stuff.
All right. Moving along to the president's report, since Cedric is not here, just a reminder, in our board packet, we have upcoming dates. So August 26th will be UPDAC meeting, looking at King Park. September 2nd, we have a study session on some really exciting topics like
I know, gripping.
bonds. Gripping. September 9th is our regular board meeting. And then September 23rd is the UpDAC kickoff meeting. And I think also in the September space, it's also Jazz Walk on Friday, September 12th, from 5 to 7 p.m. There's a lot of other dates as well, a lot of other things. This Friday is this the last Vulcan Roots Friday this Friday? Yeah. I go for Bristol, yeah. So
I wonder who's going to be our bat this year at the Bat Festival.
it's nice to see that we're doing Skate Fest again with that.
And I was just gonna say, if you weren't able to come last year, check it out, it's really cool to see. It was hard to tell exactly how many people, but we had, it was what? 11 to 4, and we had at least 70 people there every hour. So some people stayed all day, some left, new ones came. So it's a lot of fun, all ages too, so it's pretty cool to watch. Some guys were out there and they fell and they were maybe a couple years older than me, and I'm like, I could not get it.
All right, so moving along to the liaison reports. So I'll report for the finance study group. We have not met, but we will meet next week on Thursday. We haven't met since week 7. Yeah. The UPD policy study group.
We met on, policy study group met on what was the date? What day was that? Do I remember what the date was? Yeah. A couple of weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah.
We've looked at
Recently.
some of the policies for accessibility and had some really good discussions. And we're going to meet again on that in a couple of months.
September 22nd.
Yeah.
And the other reason I didn't want to go sketching was brought up.
I think that's done. Do you have anything to add?
I will say for my first one, a lot of discussion. I felt bad for Keenan and Jamil, but also like
You guys did so great.
you guys brought up a lot of really great points for one policy that we.
You set a great framework.
Yeah, yeah. So I know now to bring snacks. That was great. It was really great.
All right, for the Urbana Parks Foundation, that's me. We actually met yesterday here, and so I think some highlights from that would be that, let's see, there's discussion around solar farms in the Delcomen site, right? That's still in progress. It would be really great for the district as a whole if that can come together. We'll see. Discussion around the holiday party this year, the date TBD, but also looking at maybe looking at Phillips, featuring the kitchens, really showing people all that we have to offer on that. Kelsey's done some new and exciting training, I think, through University of Indiana's through IU's Lily, thank you. Lily's School for Fundraising, yeah. So she's really excited about that, and I'm really excited to see what comes out of that. So, I think that was, so also Jazz Walk, hopefully you got your invitations in the mail to Jazz Walk. And there will be a pre-event, which historic, you haven't been to that, at 4 o'clock, music. Get to meet Rachel, you already know Rachel, but that's great. And an opportunity for a lot of other folks to do so.
I wrote a sessional setup.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking, as I was thinking about what they're interested in, I think Corky, it would be I would love to be able to share these numbers on the Hawk with the foundation. There was conversation about impact reports in general to donors or grants they got to see King Park yesterday, and so we were talking about where that funding was coming from. But I think that would be, considering all the work they did, several of them are contributors to that, sharing those Hawk numbers would be really great. So that's something for next month to give them an update on. And also, I don't know if we'd be ready to show something we're trying to, I think, also give them some sneak peeks into what's happening, so when we feel comfortable about an open purpose road, maybe. So, maybe not next month, but maybe within the next couple.
Maybe I could jump to St. David's.
Yeah,
University.
yeah, I think that would be just something nice to
Yeah.
show.
Great.
Yeah, I think that's all I have for right now. All right, so UPDAC planning and study group.
We will be meeting after January.
All right. Well, moving along to old business, action item A, to accept the King Park master plan. I guess I'm here.
So we had a great discussion with you all at the study session last week. Keaton's here to formally present the recommendation to accept the master plan with, I think, one update, not reflective of our conversation.
So since our last board study session last Tuesday, we made one addition to the master plan. I'll just talk about that right now. The parking up north on Washer Drive, we have 2 ADA spaces, one to the left and one to the right, just in between this median, which gives us a total of 4 ADA spots, including the 2 down here to the south. These are That's the only addition that was made since last Tuesday. But to briefly go over the plan, I don't want to be too repetitive for those that already heard this kind of presentation. I'll start on the east end here with the Lincoln kind of corridor we have here. So our idea was to bring in this sidewalk. Currently it's a straight sidewalk that goes north and south. We want to bring people towards the park and away from Lincoln Avenue, of course, and into that sculpture, the byway of civil quality from Preston Jackson. And around this area, we have plantings, prairie grass, flowers. We heard from our King Committee Planning Group that beautification is something that we really want to emphasize in this park. And on each ends of this north and south, we have our Peace Poles section in the triangular spaces here. And then we also have some entry gateways that just signify you're walking into King Park. Coming towards the left here, towards west, we still have our multi-purpose field area here, so this is staying the same. Soccer, ultimate frisbee, flag football, whatever the kids want to do. And for the big piece, we have our playground that recently was voted on at Jetty Roads Day, and I want to say we went with Game Time, Cunningham Recreation. It's a really great playground. The kids really liked it. We all liked it. So we have some fencing on the back of the playground here that will include, possibly include the mural, the Dr. King mural, and also the peace sign. To the north end of the playground, we have a new amenity, Gaga Bowl. This is a very interesting amenity. It's new to me, maybe new to you guys as well, but the kids really seem to love it, and it's something that we don't have in the district, so this would give us more points on our OSLAT application, since we don't have that in the district anywhere. And for those that don't know what Gaga Ball is, it's just a kiddie form of dodgeball that's below the knee contact. And coming to the left still, we have our new band shelter here. This will be not replacing, but just an addition band shelter. And we also have some lawn space for people to enjoy with picnic tables and just kind of sit out. This will also be in an event there's a rain delay or anything like that, a big event like Jetty Roads Day, they can use this shelter to still perform and play music there as well.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
This is just about programming, not about, like, are we envisioning more programming in that band shelter than just Jetty Roads Day?
I could see, a neighborhood nights concert there for sure.
Bending in the park,
absolutely.
we kick off in there too.
I think once we finish this project, this park's going to be hopping.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we also would like to see other groups utilize the space instead of just providing them.
Space.
Right. If you build it, they will come kind of concept. But yeah, I agree. I think that might be really good.
So I mentioned how this existing sidewalk here is currently straight. I want to point out that number 11 path here, will also be updated. This currently just runs straight from east to west, so just a little bit more meandering to be more attractive to people to walk through the park. And coming to the left side of the park, we have some brand new changes here. Tennis courts are going away with full court basketball coming in and half court basketball, taking the place of bank shot basketball, as well as a team hangout terrace area, which will include solar panel charging stations, which would be awesome for the kids there. Spot for them to go after school, maybe charge their phone, do homework. In the north of that area, we have a new challenge course. Maybe similar to Blair in some ways, but we also want to introduce new activities there as well to kind of freshen it up. And on the south end here, we have an outdoor reading circle. The Dr. King School, when we did engagement there, really excited about this piece and how close it would be to the school. Kids can use this during, actual school time as a classroom setting, or just after school for a place for them to hang out, given this location and how close it is to the school. And so this is also a new amenity for OSLAD. We don't have something like this in the district, and this will definitely score us well on our application.
So mentioned that,
We're not putting parking in the cul-de-sac, right? Are those supposed to be
no,
cars?
yeah, it's more drop off.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're coming and going.
Still,
Okay.
still not no parking, yeah.
Making sure.
There's a tiny little U up there.
But even when it's not Jenny Rose Day, that's a problem for those neighbors right there. And they very much appreciate the work we do all year to keep that clear.
Great.
So,
Keith and I today, we attended a city facilitated meeting for Lincoln Avenue, and what we showed here in this rendering is a proposed condition the city's evaluating. They have a planning grant to do a lane diet, essentially converting Lincoln to be a 3-lane road, and they'll do a temporary striping profile next spring to sort of test it. In one scenario, they have bike lanes on road, just off the curb and gutter. Another scenario, they have multi-use trail on the west side off of Lincoln Avenue that would tie into our multi-use trail. So we're excited to see where that goes. We mentioned this plan at the meeting, and people were pretty excited.
That's most of the big changes. We'll point to the north of Harvey and Gregory. We do have smaller gateway signs, so if people are walking towards King Park in that fashion, they can recognize that they're coming into a park district. Any other questions for the master plan?
Derek, do you want to mention what conversation you had with Kyle about the accessible seating?
Yes, yeah, so we talked with Kyle about that soccer space and, the open field space. And right now, that is not getting used very often. We have tried to program that for soccer. It didn't go. We didn't get a lot of enrollees. And we have other places where soccer is hugely popular and we don't have accessible seating. So we're thinking that makes sense to prioritize for now. If this becomes a success that we think it is and we can program it for soccer, it makes sense to look at accessible access here in the future. But right now, like we know that we're going to have a real need, so we have to focus there. So before we move on, our formal recommendation is that the board accept this as the funded record.
Is there a motion to accept the King Park master plan?
I move to accept the King Park master plan.
I second.
All right, that's been moved in second. Is there any further discussion on the matter? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote starting with Sarah.
Aye.
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 Aye. And that passes. Very exciting.
Great job.
All right, now on to funding, right? The next item is the action to approve resolution 2025-08 for the OSLOC grant application for King Park.
Covered this briefly at today's session as well, but we do have one more recommendation for you. Keenan's got it ready for your review. Any questions you all might have? As we mentioned, this will formally commit us if we get the grant to
Yeah. So applying for the grant currently takes a lot of work, so starting pretty early just to get some of those information aspects in. We're requesting $600,000 from OSLAD and with a local match of $630,000 for a total of around roughly $1.2 million.
If I might just mention real quick, because actually we brought this up during the study session. The OSLAD grant opened about a month earlier than we had anticipated. And you had mentioned we're approving all this before uptaxing. It's because the Oslo
Makes
grant
sense.
opened early. Yeah, so I do want to say that it's not, that Zach's opinion is not still important to us. It is funding that has driven us to be a little earlier than most. So,
Okay,
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Next question.
You're very welcome.
Also mentioned that we got word today from Levinsky's office that in early September, they're facilitating a meeting with ID&R staff to review OSLAD applications of prospective applicants, and we're interested to attend that facilitating.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve Resolution 2025-08 for the OSLAD grant application for King Park.
Second.
All right, that's been moved in second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Ashley.
Aye.
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 Happens. All the best on this. All right, moving along to action to approve easements with the city of Urbana for the ITEP Trail Project.
Okay, so we've been working with the city of Urbana for some time on this, we call it the Baker's Lane ITEP Trail, although in actuality it also goes down Washington Street. And so we have before you tonight are 2 temporary construction easements and 3 permanent construction easements. The temporary obviously are for the construction that goes in. This is the one that's off of Washington, so it extends as far to the east as our new Health and Wellness Center, and then it continues down to the west just past Prairie Park. This is just our portion that's in front of Prairie Park here. And then the next easement, this is as it meanders back onto Weaver Park as it's come up from school property and City Baker's Lane property. In the purple, you see the permanent construction easement that will be in perpetuity. We're granting to the City of Urbana. They will be able to access and take care of the concrete itself. The construction easement is for the contractor will be doing their work, and then continues on further north, north to our right, up kind of meandering into Weaver Park there, and then next slide you can see some of our connections into Scottswood, and then ultimately up to Main Street. We'll cross Main Street, and the City of Urbana has worked on this sort of improved crossing. It'll be similar to the crossing we have at Prairie Lake currently, lit crossing with the Refuge Island. So these would be easements we're giving the City of Urbana, and then we also have the lighting easement. More temporary construction. You see those. A little bit further. Yep, that's it. So this is Baker's Lane. Where we have Baker's Lane, city owns that property. They're going to grant us easement to own and maintain the lighting. That lighting is something we work closely with the school, the city on to make sure it's dark sky compliant and has good neighbor cutoffs as well as wildlife cutoffs. When we did the Weaver Park planning process, that was important to our residents. So the city was initially planning on using their standard lighting. It's not quite dark sky. So we were encouraging them to move in this direction. We were able to submit to IDOT and they approved it for installation, which is a little bit unusual for IDOT. They're allowing us to signal source it for lighting to make sure we get what we want. So it continues down Baker's Lane, and then it goes up into Weaver Park, and of course, where it's in Weaver Park, we don't need easement. We own that land. And then where it meanders back over to Baker's Lane, like I said, the furthest extent it goes. So again, this is just those sections of Baker's Lane where there'll be lighting that we'll own and maintain. So we're excited to bring this to you. It's been reviewed by Matt Deering. We had a few suggestions. They've all been made, and it's ready for any questions you all might have.
What's the current timeline on finishing this project?
So we'll probably be the first agency to pass our easements, the school and of course with the district as well. As soon as they get these done, they want to bid it. They'll probably award late summer, early fall. I think we'll see tree removal this winter is what I expect, and then construction next spring.
And this was complicated, so can you remind us who owns that side of the Baker's Lane?
City of Urbana owns the Baker's
The-
Lane.
Okay, and, no, but I'm sorry, the new path, the trail.
Oh, yep, so.
I mean, in terms of maintenance,
Yeah.
what I'm thinking going forward, because I thought I heard you say we were doing the lights, but they're doing.
That's right, yeah, so
Okay.
the city will own the trail itself, and they'll maintain the concrete, you know, for the life of the trail. We will own and maintain the lighting, and we're also gonna take care of the functional aspects of the trail, so we'll remove snow and leaves and things like that. So it's a cooperative project.
Will the park district be doing the snow removal and everything on the Washington Street side as well, or just the Baker's?
We would be doing that anyway. City sidewalk is something that we would be cleaning anyway, so we would be, for our portion, the school would be their portion.
And how far is that, is the path going in terms of the whole, I mean, this is just showing the part in front of the Prairie Park.
To the east side of the driveway, right?
Yeah,
Council
yeah,
walls?
yeah. Both the construction drawings, the front plan set.
Yeah, it might be easier to envision instead of these pieces.
You want to show the whole thing?
Yeah,
here?
Google Maps.
Go in
Since
spot.
you can.
So you can see it's extended. Is that helpful?
Yep.
So effectively, you would be able to, leave Health and Wellness Center, get on the multi-use trail all the way up Baker's Lane to the KRT, get on the KRT, and go out to Danville once the project's done. And then the KRT, of course.
Like good 5K.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I move that the Urbana Park District Board of Commissioners approve 3 easements of the city of Urbana for the ITEP Trail project along the Baker's Lane.
Second. All right, that's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote starting with Ashley.
Aye.
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 Okay. As there was no action on any old business or consent agenda removal, so we'll move on to new business. Is there any new business? Okay. And then we'll move to comments from commissioners.
The art fair, it was really great. There was a lot of great artists and the weather was perfect. A lot of compliments just about the event as a whole and a lot of people complimented just kind of the overall variety and diversity of our programs across the board. So I thought that was great. That was art myself.
2,200 visitors.
27.
Drove the golf cart for a little while. It was fun.
Right.
Yeah.
27.
Sad that I missed it this year, I was out of town, but it was
great.
it's a great
It was
event.
the first year I went.
Was it, did it take place down by the boathouse as well this year?
No, I'm sorry, I thought it was based on.
Okay, I thought I saw Matt showing some stuff.
I think just the artists parked down by the lake house on the west side.
Do we have brochures or flyers about Hawk? Because I've been going to physical therapy and just kind of telling the therapists about Hawk, and I didn't even know that was there. We're always telling people, here's some places you can go. So they didn't even know when I went to PT. None of them have known that we have this facility, but they're really interested in knowing more. So they can tell people. They thought it was great, silver sneakers, I mean, like everything. I'm like, we would love to give you a tour if you ever want to take a tour.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a flyer. We can email you one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Could we have somebody from marketing take brochures to each of the physical therapy spaces in town?
Sure.
I mean,
Because they do make
Yeah.
suggestions to clients.
I think that would be a great, I mean, if they're not hearing about the Hawk via our current marketing, then let's take it to them.